Hi, Tamara here. Welcome to my channel. I'm excited about today's video. I think I always say that, but I really am excited for today's video because it's a tag video. And I was tagged to do this video by Dawn, who has the channel Dawn's Life Over 40. And I have been subscribed to Dawn for years. She has a wonderful channel. She is 51 years old, so she's a mature beauty. She's a nurse like me, and what I love about her channel is that, first of all, she is just so sweet and kind and soothing. I love her voice. And she has a really holistic, healthy, natural approach to skincare as well as to makeup. You know, she and I are in 100% agreement that beautiful skin really comes from the inside out, and, you know, taking care of your health with good nutrition, good rest, good fluid, good exercise is paramount. Okay, I'm getting off track. Another thing I really love about Dawn is that she's just very encouraging. You know, she tagged 3 newer YouTubers to do this video. And I just think it's so cool that someone who's been doing YouTube for as long as she has and that has such a vibrant, established channel is reaching out and supporting and encouraging some of us new kids on the block. So Dawn, I really thank you for tagging me, and I appreciate your support and encouragement. So let's get right to my skincare journey. I am 60, so my skincare journey goes back quite a ways. You know, it really starts when I was a little girl. My mother was a stunningly beautiful woman from the inside out. And she was a girly girl, and she loved skincare, and she loved makeup. And I just remember as a little girl being mesmerized and watching her magical skincare routine and her magical makeup routine. You know, she was ahead of her time. She did egg white masks and yogurt masks and oatmeal scrubs. She was very into health. She raised me on wheat germ and whole wheat bread. So my mother has been a major inspiration and role model for me throughout my entire life. She is my skincare guru. Anyway, fast forward to age 13. I'm 5'8", which is super tall for a 13-year-old, super skinny, super gawky, and I got a case of acne, which is really hard when you are already very self-conscious and insecure, right? Not cystic acne everywhere, but a full forehead full of zits all the way down my T-zone, on my chin. Luckily, my mother brought me to a dermatologist. And I think that dermatologist changed my life. This dermatologist put me on a skincare program. He told me, wash your face twice a day with Basis soap. Very gentle soap at the time. He put me on a prescription topical treatment. I really don't know what it was. It was a prescription. I don't know if it was an antibiotic. I don't know if it was a salicylic acid. He also said, don't eat chocolate or French fries. And he said, eat as many green vegetables as you can. And I followed his advice to a T, and I saw results. And I think that a couple of things. Thanks to him, I don't think I've missed a day, an evening of washing my face since I was 13 years old. And he really inspired an interest in nutrition. And I made the connection from an early age of nutrition and how you look and feel. Okay. So I saw the dermatologist every couple of months for a good probably 2 years. And by the time I was 15, my skin was pretty clear, just an occasional zit. And again, I really think that dermatologist changed my life in many ways. I'm really grateful that my mother brought me to a dermatologist. So skincare, pretty uneventful for the next couple years. I took time off between high school and college because I moved out to San Francisco to live with my aunt, who's only 5 years older than me. And we're more like cousins or sisters, right? So I moved in with my aunt in San Francisco, and she was a cosmetologist. She was actually a facialist, an esthetician. And she worked at a very, very high-end facial salon in San Francisco called Fabulous Faces. And it was on Maiden Lane. Anyway, it was very high-end, very posh, and I was able to get a job as a receptionist there. And that was eye-opening. You know, I'd see these elegant, beautiful women come in to get their facials once a month and their peels, and you know, that was before there was any Botox or fillers or lasers, and it was just all based on really good skincare, facials, peels, that type of thing. So for a couple of years in San Francisco, I received the benefit of having regular facials and having access to some really high quality skincare products. I do remember becoming aware of the damage that the sun can do. However, I still don't think we had available at that time. Mind you, this is the late 70s, early 80s. I don't think there was an awareness of the daily incidental sun damage that occurs just from going from your house to the car. It was more like, you know, if you go to the beach, wear a hat, or, you know, avoid the sun between 10 and 2. And I think I did. I was never a sun worshiper. I just didn't have the patience for it. A lot of my friends were, you know, baby oiled, iodine, tinfoil, getting super brown. I was really never that girl, luckily. I think it saved my skin. Anyway, so that was my early 20s. And moved back to Minnesota at age 25. I was a RN by this time. And between the age of 25 to my late 30s, you know, nothing special with my skin. I would cleanse it twice a day with Dove soap. I remember using Dove soap because my skin was starting to get a little bit more dry. I used the pink Oil of Olay moisturizing lotion. Occasionally, I'd use the St. Ives apricot scrub. Occasionally, I'd use Sea Breeze toner. And that was my skincare routine until I was in my mid to late 30s when I started to notice some of the signs of aging. Now, my mother was a very young mother. She was only 17 when she had me. So as she was really investigating anti-aging, I was starting to become concerned about aging. And so we sort of explored together. She was the leader. She read a book by Dr. Perricone called The Wrinkle Cure. And he talked a lot about omega-3 fatty acids and diet, and vitamin C serum and vitamin A serum. And that led my mother to go to the dermatologist and get a prescription for retin-a. I am fortunate enough because my mother shared her retin-a prescription journey with me, and we did our retin-a journey together. I've done a retin-a video several months ago, and I said my 15 years on retin-a. And then I did a Curology video a couple of weeks ago, and I called it my 18 years on retin-a. I really cannot remember exactly when I started retin-a. And as I'm piecing together and really giving it some thought, I'm pretty sure it's closer to 20 years on retin-a, maybe longer. And I can't ask my mom because she passed away 15 years ago. My mother was my best friend. I talked to her every single day of my life. And I lost her way too young. Oh, here comes the thunder. Anyway, I can't ask my mom. Okay. Retin-a. So we did our retin-a journey together. And then a couple years later, she went and got some Botox. So I think by now I'm about 40 or 41 or 42. And my mother went to the dermatology clinic. Actually, the son of the dermatologist that I went to when I was 13, he had opened an aesthetic dermatology clinic here in Minneapolis, Dr. Brian Zellickson, and it's called the Zell Laser and Skin. And it is a dermatology office. Anyway, so my mom went there and got Botox. And when I saw the results on her, I wanted some, right? She just got a little bit in the 11s and a little bit up here. And it really looked so nice. So her next appointment, I made an appointment and we went in together. I think I was about 42 when I ventured into the world of Botox. And at the time, I was a single mother, and my daughter was a teenager, and I was a director of nursing at a nursing home. I was under tons of stress and pressure, and I always looked worried, and sometimes I looked angry, and it was really just the stress and pressure causing, forehead scrunching and scowling. So when I went and got the retin-a, and a little bit there and a little bit up here, nothing in the crow's feet, and I saw how much more relaxed I looked and happier, I've been hooked. I have been going to the same aesthetic nurse injector at the Zell Clinic here in Minneapolis for close to 20 years. And I think that by going to Polly, her name is Polly, she has really over the years led me through my skincare journey. When I first went to her for Botox, she looked at my skin and she said, "Your skin looks really irritated. What are you doing?" And I told her I had been on retin-a for a couple of years, and I had been exploring other anti-aging products. I was just buying anything that said anti-aging or wrinkle, and I was just layering active upon active from the drugstore. And she said, retin-a is the best thing you can do for your skin. Eliminate everything else. All you need is retin-a and a very gentle cleanser and a very gentle moisturizer. And that's when she put me on daily sunscreen. One of the things I love about Polly is that she's never tried to upsell me. She never tried to give me more Botox that I wanted. She never tried to pressure, additional treatments. She never tried to sell me on a whole bunch of products. I think she said either use Cetaphil or CeraVe. I can't remember which one, the cream cleanser and the moisturizer. But then she did recommend a Obagi mineral sunscreen, and I did buy that, and I did use that every day. So I have been on daily sunscreen for close to 20 years, thanks to Polly. So the next, over the years, probably the next couple of visits with Polly, I wanted to do something more for my skin, right? So she recommended vitamin C serum, and she recommended the SkinCeuticals C plus E plus ferulic, and it was $150 an ounce, not cheap. So as I was trying to make a decision, she told me that she used the vitamin C serum, and she would put a few drops on the back of her hand, and then she would take it from her hand and apply it to her face. And she showed me the difference in her skin texture and pigment on the two hands. The one that she was using as a palette for the vitamin C was noticeably smoother and less pigmented than the one without the vitamin C. So I was sold. So I was using C plus E plus ferulic for quite a long time. Not super consistently because it is $150 for an ounce. But 20 years ago, that was all we had. We didn't have timeless vitamin C. And it worked. I loved it. I used it, not consistently, but for several years I did use that. I also, with the retin-a, in those early years, I would fight with sort of what I call cyclical peelies. My skin would be dry and flaky. I would use my Clarisonic or go in for a microdermabrasion. It would get better for a while, and then it would go through this cycle. And I was just always sort of fighting the peelies. And at the time, all I knew about was physical exfoliation. So I was always trying to scrub it off my face. Okay, so now we're about 45. And toward my later 40s, I became interested in fillers. I think I got my first cheek filler, actually probably closer to 50. I'm going to have to get my records from the clinic and really put it together. When I do, I will pin a comment in the description box, but just for my own sake. So I'm just giving you the big picture right now. So around age 50, I got some cheek filler, and I really liked that. Polly did it. She is such a skilled, talented, artistic person with a really good eye. You really want to trust the person that you're putting your face into their hands, right? And then I was noticing a lot of upper lip lines. And so she did just a very tiny little bit amount of filler on my upper lip about 10 years ago to reduce the lines, not to add volume necessarily. I was a little afraid of volume. And anyway, so that was my skincare routine throughout my 40s, early 50s. I think so. All the while, I am super interested in nutrition. Around age 50 is when I started on green smoothies, and I have a whole video on my green smoothie journey. Okay, so now let's fast forward to about age 55, when I discovered YouTube about 5 years ago. I was Googling retin-a because a friend of mine wanted to try retin-a, and I was looking for information for her. And I stumbled upon Angie Hot and Flashy. And as I've said before, I tumbled down the YouTube anti-aging beauty community hard and fast. And that's when I really started getting into a bunch of different serums and chemical exfoliation, and really amped my skincare up to the next level. I replaced the SkinCeuticals with Timeless Vitamin C. I love Timeless Coenzyme Q10. I'm not going to go through all the stuff that I use, but I did, the biggest change in my skincare routine was the addition of chemical exfoliation and eliminating, I gave up the Clarisonic. I was no longer using microdermabrasion. And when I discovered chemical exfoliation, it was a complete game changer for my retin-a peelies. Pixie Glow Tonic. You know, I was so afraid of glycolic acid back then. It just sounded scary, acid, putting acid on your face. So I was very cautious, and I got Pixie Glow Tonic, and I did a patch test, and I started once a week and then twice a week. And pretty soon I was using it every day. And it eliminated my peelies completely and totally. I can't remember the last time I had peeling skin, and I still use the 0.1 strongest retin-a every night. Most recently, I've been on Curology. So the more I got into topical active ingredients, exploring peptides and, you know, coenzyme Q10 and Synth6 and glycolic acid, the less I felt the need to do these expensive treatments like fillers. Okay? I really think my YouTube journey has really made a hugely positive impact on my skin in the last 5 years. Now, I was very unhappy in my job. Very unhappy in my job. I was in healthcare administration for a big long-term for-profit nursing home company, and I had become increasingly unhappy, and to the point where I was miserable, and I was looking for something different. And so about 3 or 4 years ago, I went to the National Laser Institute in Phoenix, Arizona, and I took a 10-day course in aesthetic injectables. Super fun. There were doctors and nurse practitioners and other nurses there, and for 10 days I was immersed as a student as an aesthetic nurse injector. The first 2 or 3 hours of the day were classroom, where we learned all kinds of anatomy. Then the next, 6 hours a day were all clinical practice. We had 3 or 4 students per instructor, and we did injectables. I did Botox, I did cheek fillers, I did lip fillers, we did different kinds of lasers. I loved it. What I didn't do is research the job market very well. So when I got home with my certificate and started looking for a job, I realized a couple things. One is it was pretty hard to find a job without experience. And two is I didn't research well enough because the starting salaries for an aesthetic nurse injector was about half of the income that I was used to and that I really wanted to maintain. Luckily for me, while I was still looking for a nurse injector position, an opportunity came my way to work for an amazing not-for-profit company that has a continuum of everything from senior apartments, assisted living, and care centers. And I work at the corporate office and I love my job. And so I don't need to explore nurse injectors positions right now. But I'm really glad I had that experience. It was really fun. I learned a lot. Now, even though I'm certified, I've never actually practiced. So if you have questions, I may or may not be able to answer them, and I may or may not refer you to somebody who's actually been in clinical practice. Do I regret going to that school? No, I don't. I learned so much. It was such a fun experience, and I'm still in touch with some of the other students. While I was at the school, I got my lips done. So that was 3 years ago. And I had no intention to get my lips done. But you know, this is Phoenix, Arizona, and you get caught up in the excitement. Back in the day, my lips were full and luscious and just full. And as you age, your lips lose volume. And my lips have lost a lot of volume. And so I got caught up in the hype and the excitement. And I had a little bit of filler in my upper lip and a little bit in my lower lip. And it looked really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. It's gone now because that was 3 or 4 years ago. But would I do it again? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. You know, the more I've gotten into just skincare, the less I feel the need for fillers and even Botox. Again, the last time I had Botox was October of 2019. Now, I do have an appointment coming up, and I am going to do a before and after with the Botox. But anyway, so that is my skincare journey. Is there anything else I need to add? You know, skincare has long been a passion of mine. It's interesting. It's fascinating. I just think it's so wonderful that we have so much research and so many active ingredients to choose from and so many treatments to choose from. And, you know, it's a very personal choice. Many people choose not to do Botox or fillers. Many people choose to do them. No judgment. Everybody has to make their decisions for themselves. And will I get more filler someday? Probably. Will I do more Botox? Absolutely. What other? I am very interested in having a laser, but I love building my skincare routine. Oh, I did want to update you guys. So for years, I wanted to try the NuFace, and I finally bought one last Christmas. And I did a video in February showing you my new NuFace and my routine, and I told you I would update you in a couple of months, and then I dropped it in March and it completely broke and I no longer had my receipt. How sad is that? That was expensive. And so as I contacted NuFace to see if they would send me a new one. They didn't replace for droppage. So I didn't really know what to do, and as I was trying to decide whether to buy a new one or not, I became interested in other types of microcurrent, so I sort of became stuck. And at this point, the MyoLift, you know, Claudia from Claudia Glows and Jennifer from Jennifer Joyce Beauty really swear by the MyoLift, which is never in stock. So I've been trying to decide NuFace MyoLift, NuFace MyoLift. I might just buy the NuFace at the Nordstrom's anniversary sale because the MyoLift is never in stock, and I really do want to give the microcurrent a chance. I know a lot of women here on YouTube really swear by the results that you can achieve from that. I hope I covered everything in my skincare journey. Bottom line, I enjoy skincare. I love washing my face at night. I love applying my serums. It's self-care. It's pampering. I love the way it feels. I love the experience of it. I enjoy it. You know, a lot of people, oh, I don't want to wash my face. I look forward to my skincare. it's fun, and I love learning, and I love experimenting, and I love sharing with you. And you know, one of the reasons I was really interested in becoming aesthetic nurse injector is I just wanted to help people look and feel better. And since I started my YouTube channel, I really feel like that need, that hole, that void has been filled. I have loved every minute of having a channel and sharing my knowledge and experience with you, and having you share your knowledge and experience with me and other people. And you know, it's all part of the same journey. So I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it helpful. And I would love to hear about your skincare journey. And I should tag a few people. First of all, if you're a YouTube creator and you have watched this video, consider yourself tagged, because I love this kind of video and I want to hear all about your skincare journey. But I am going to tag a few people in particular. Claudia, of course. Claudia Glows, one of my favorite people. Gorgeous skin. I want to hear your skincare journey, Claudia. And Susan, Little Poet, love your channel. I would love to hear your skincare journey. Mary, Glitzy Fritzy, gorgeous skin. I would love to hear your skincare journey. And Rebecca, who has the channel Frugalista, and why I'm really interested in your skincare journey is because you have had rosacea, and I really want to hear how you dealt with your rosacea. And not to mention Jennifer from the channel Jennifer Joyce Beauty. She's a skincare warrior. I think it would probably take her hours to talk about her skincare journey, because she's an experimenter and she's tried everything. Anyway, if you are watching this video, consider yourself tagged. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, I would love to hear comments and questions and your skincare journey below. Let's wrap this up. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate the time that you spend. And most importantly, wherever you are, take really good care of yourself. And please stay safe and healthy. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.